Good evening, Unique Couples community.
Hello, hello.
How's everybody doing today? We are Vito and Linda Patrick. We are here in Freeport, Grand Bahama, in the Bahamas, and we want to welcome you to another Unique Couples Sunday Night Live. This evening, you're in for a big treat.
Yes.
We have special guests in the house, Jacqueline, Gardiner, and Kino McCartney. They're going to be introduced a little later on, but we're going to be in for a great treat. And today we're talking about health. Are you overinsured or underinsured?
Yep.
So we're going to be in for a great time this evening. So I just want to welcome you. You can go ahead and like the video. You can go ahead and share. Make sure you let friends and family members know. Unique Couples is live. We are on. And we are talking about insurance today. That's also a part of marriage, insurance.
Making sure, because you don't want to leave your spouse or kids, family in any way, insecure and just kind of like concerned, whether it's because of a loss or because a loss of any kind, right? And then, sometimes like we said earlier, how do you know if you are getting too much insurance in some areas and not in other areas, or if you're underinsured, overinsured, and then if you're getting the right insurance coverage or help that your family needs? So we thought it was definitely important to bring on these experts, these winners and trainers. And I mean, they have so many accolades. You're looking at them and saying, what? And they look so young. How is it possible? So we're so excited to have Kino and Jacqueline here today to share with us. All of you who are watching, go ahead, hashtag Live Squad in the chat. And if you're watching the replay, go ahead and hashtag replay. We are definitely in for some information that's going to change our lives.
Yes. So we want to thank Shadra at Style Me Pretty for sponsoring the program today. You can contact her at 242-441-7977 to get all of your little girls' hair done. You want to contact Shadra at Style Me Pretty. Then you also want to contact Doris at Hair to Please at 242-351-1962 for all of your weave, all of your frontals, all of your closures. Everything you ladies need, you can contact Doris.
Yeah, and but all those date nights too, right?
Yes. And then for the manicure and pedicure, you want to contact Anna at the Nail Lab Creations at 242-439-0523. So you want to contact Anna for your pedicure and your manicure. So we want to thank those sponsors for sponsoring the program this evening here at Unique Couples Sunday Night Live. So without any further ado, what we want to do, we want to go right ahead and dive right into our presentation for today. And we're going to start it off with the lovely Jacqueline Gardiner. She's going to start it off for us this evening. Hello, Jackie. How are you?
Hi, I'm wonderful. It's a beautiful Sunday. I'm here in the room with your group, so I'm wonderful.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Can you tell our viewing audience a little about yourself?
Okay, so my name, as you said, I'm Jacqueline Gardiner. I'm the underwriting manager and agents manager of Kino General Insurance Company. I am the president of a mentoring ministry. I am the co-host of Transforming Lives and the host of Jackie Gardiner Facebook Live. And then I'm a mother of twin adult men. They would want me to say the adult men, one a lawyer and the other an insurance professional. So I'm glad to be here.
Awesome.
Wow. Awesome. And who would have known, right? Okay, so you're like all the way up there, and you definitely have some experience on a personal level to share, as well as it relates to, making sure your children are set. And now you have grown men, yes. And then we also want to say hello to Kino.
Yes, Kino, you can go ahead and introduce yourself. Let our viewing audience know a little about yourself.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Unique Couples. And it's great to be here with Vito and Linda Patrick, also with Jackie Gardiner. course, I have the wonderful privilege of being a husband and a father for 26 years young.
Wow.
And my darling wife, Lisa, we've been married. We have two wonderful children, Kristen and Daniel, and they are 19 and 15. And again, it's just a privilege just being a father. My second hat I wear is a branch manager at the Great Collins branch of Golden Eagles at Kino. I also serve there as a branch manager and also serve as an associate pastor at my church, at Christ Community Church. And I want to send a shout out to my church family, my Bishop Deans and his wife, Edris, and the church family. Hello, guys. How you all doing? And I also serve in the community in Rotary. So I have a wonderful privilege of serving. That's what I love to do, serve and help families. So it's great to be here today.
Awesome. Service above self, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna turn it over to you, Jackie.
Yeah, I know some questions before we get started, Jackie. I know some questions that we would have gotten previously would have been, why get insured? Like, with all of this, people, you have money to spend on so many things, so many other things coming up. Why get insurance for something that possibly won't happen? So that's a question that may be on, some of the minds of the persons who are watching. Why get insured?
The importance of having insurance.
Yeah, and then you have enough. So if you could answer some of those, and then we'll come back in. So we want to tell our viewing audience, put your questions in the chat. We will have a question and answer segment at the end of the presentations.
Well, thank you so much. I'm glad that I did set my intention before coming on, and hopefully at the end, well, I know at the end of our presentations, those questions will be answered. So let me say a big thank you so very much for this wonderful opportunity. Thanks to the couples and thanks to the leader of this organization. My short presentation would be on general insurance, which is slightly different from life insurance that Kino will address. So we wanted to be very comprehensive in our presentation. So in my presentation, I would be talking about protection for your personal property, which will be like your car, your house, and your business. Okay, so that's what general insurance. So business will be like your shop, your office, etc. And so I've set the intention very quickly. 3 E's help me to set this intention. The first thing I want to do is I want to encourage all viewers to really, really take the matter pertaining to insurance seriously, because it impacts you, it impacts your lifestyle, it impacts your future. So first of all, I want to encourage you, glad that you came up with the topic, and to encourage you to continue on that journey of learning about insurance, because it's a very important subject. Second thing I want to do is educate. Now, I know persons have some information and, knowledge is power, but I just want to share a little bit more information, and not just information, transformative information that will cause you to think and make you aware, like, where do I go? What are my next steps pertaining to insurance? Okay, so we don't just want to be talking, we want to share transformative information that would increase your awareness. Lastly, and most importantly, I want to empower you. I want to empower you to make sound decisions pertaining to insurance. So if we could do those 3 E's in this short presentation, mission accomplished, okay? So let's get quickly on. So I'll start with a personal story, my own personal story, my family home. We live in a certain area. In that particular area that we live, there are many churches, about 5 churches. And then on another side, there's a funeral home. And then in that community, there are like 2 constables and many dogs, and we have bars on our home. So from where we sat, we thought that we were safe, right? Nobody could break into our homes because we had all this protection around. We were wrong. One sad day, someone broke into our home, and they made away with a considerable amount of things. I mean, they stole even down to my son's games, just, it was a disaster. And when we stepped inside, we felt violated. The only consolation we had in all the emotional trauma was that we had insurance, and that insurance was used to restore our property. So it gave us a peace of mind. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this peace of mind. Persons want to know why insured. Contrary to what many people think and believe, and what you might have heard, insurance is not evil. Right? People like to say it's evil. It's not evil. Instead, it's your friend. At the very root of insurance exists the need or the desire to provide peace of mind. If insurance is evil, then peace of mind is evil, because that's what is intertwined at the root. I see my friend smiling, at the root of insurance. Additionally, club members, not only does insurance provide peace of mind, what it does is it protects your legacy. And sometimes we forget about that. So not only do we protect the asset that you're using now and enjoying, we make it possible that if that asset is destroyed, we can replace that, and that can pass on to your children. So you get benefit, your children get benefit. So it could be a part of your legacy. I say 2 great reasons to have insurance. So now very quickly on to our topic, help. Are we underinsured or overinsured? The crux of this whole matter in setting the correct sums insured is you need to know how to go about doing it. If you start right, then you will end right. So if you start right, you should not have overinsurance or underinsurance, or if you are, slight differences, okay? So we want to start right. Very quickly, I want to mention that unfortunately, far too often, too many people do not spend adequate time setting the right insurance. They're either overinsured, meaning they have too much insurance, or underinsured, having too little insurance. Mayday, we want to stop that here and now during this presentation. So let me quickly share with you some ways you can set the correct sums insured. Here is how you calculate your sum insured if you have your building and if you have your contents. Your sum insured is based on the rebuilt value of your home. What does that mean? It means how much it would cost to build your home or your commercial building, how much it costs in today's market to rebuild that home. Not donkey years ago, today's market to build that home with similar constructions. And if you are not able there to determine that in and of yourself, and I would not advise you to just take that into your own hands. Seek the assistance of an appraiser, a surveyor, to assist you, or a contractor to assist you with that process. Okay, so that's the building. It's built on the rebuilt value, not what you paid, not the actual cash value you paid for your home donkey years ago. For example, in the Bahamas, we have an area called Yellow Elder, and some time ago, a home in Yellow Elder was like $40,000. And persons still come in today trying to insure a home for $40,000. You can't even build, a chicken shack for $40,000, right? So you need those homes in Yellow Elder is like $100,000 and over. So make sure you set the correct sums insured on your home. Likewise, on your contents. This is a big one. Set the sum insured at the amount to replace your contents in today's market. So it means that if you're coming in to insure your contents, quote around to see what is the replacement value of those contents. Don't just guess it. A lot of persons come in just guessing. I don't know, so I'm going to just set a guesstimate value. If you start with a guess, then when it's claim settlement, what do you think you're going to end up with? 9 times out of 10, a guess. All right? All right. Some of the things that people forget to include in their sums insured, and it caused them to arrive at the incorrect sum insured. So they're most often underinsured. People forget their pool. People forget their solar panels. People forget their generator. All those things, your clothing, all of those things or properties can be insured. So make sure you take a walk through your home, and contents is basically anything that is movable in your home is considered to be contents, and anything permanently attached, meaning if you leave your home, you cannot take it with you, that's considered to be your building value. All right. So getting the correct, ensuring that the correct items are covered by your policy would prevent underinsurance. Number 3, don't just come into the insurance company and ask for the cheapest cover. We get that from time to time. If you're asking for the cheapest cover, then you can have gaps in your cover. So for example, we just went through Dorian, and it was surprising to see how many persons did not have catastrophe perils cover and then came into claim. If you just simply have a fire policy, you cannot come into the office to claim for catastrophe damage. So know your policy, know the coverage to ensure that you don't have no, because in that case, they had not just inadequate coverage, they had no coverage because their home was not destroyed by fire, it was destroyed by hurricane. So that's another way to avoid underinsurance or no insurance, making sure that you have the correct coverage to meet your needs. All right? All right, so some of the things that people sometimes do to cause overinsurance, they include the value of the land in their sum insured. Your land will not go anywhere in the event there's a damage. So please, that's a big one. Do not include the value of your land in the sum insured for your building, okay? Also, landscaping. Landscaping is not included. It's exposed, volatile. No, they don't tend to not include the landscaping. So there are two items that you should not include in the sum insured unless you get special approval from the insurer to include the landscaping. One or two will say just for a little small limit, you can have some landscaping included. So inquire about it. Knowledge is power. All right, moving quickly along. Deductibles. This is a big one. Deductible is basically the amount of in terms of a claim, the amount that you are responsible for in the event of a claim. All right. What happens a lot of times is persons do not read the contract and do not understand deductible. For all property insurance and also on the life side, a deductible is included and is there for many different reasons. One of the reasons is to ensure that you exercise caution with that asset that is being insured. So if you know that there's a deductible under that policy and that you would absorb some of that loss, then you would be careful. But if you think I'm going to pay the entire claim, then you tend to say, okay, that's the insurance company's asset. No. There's a deductible included in your policy. And depending on what peril that or loss is involved, the deductible can vary. For example, if your home or your commercial building is destroyed by fire, generally there is no deductible for a fire loss. However, that big fat girl hurricane, if it is hurricane, then there tend to be a 2% deductible, 2% of not the claim amount. People get this confused and then they say, they steal, the insurance company steal. Misunderstanding about the coverage. And that's why I'm advocating know your contract, read your contract. It's 2% of the sum insured or the value of your property. That's how you come up with your deductible for catastrophe. So as I show you, fire is different, is nil. For catastrophe perils, 2% of the sum insured. Do not go and choose a high deductible. The standard is 2%. Just in exchange for, say, 5% discount, you decide, oh, I want a 5% deductible. 9 times out of 10, in the event of a hurricane, you would not have to absorb, you would not have sufficient funds set aside to absorb a 5% deductible. That's really hefty. All right, so be very careful about choosing large deductible because that's where you end up with having inadequate coverage when that deductible is paid. All right, so we spoke about knowing your coverage. This is a very big one, very material one. So material change in the risk. This happened with Dorian. We had persons who came to us, they had a property, for example, insured as a private dwelling. They decided to make some changes and they added a shop onto a private dwelling. When you attach a commercial property to a private property, that property now becomes a commercial venture, is no longer a private residence, and that claim could be denied. Okay, so any material change to your property that you make, what it is that you increase the sum insured. We had this a big one in Freeport. I heard that you're in Freeport. This was one of the big challenges that we had in Freeport. You know how you're very close to the US and you guys have really big, huge, beautiful homes, right? And you're continuously adding. You go around Freeport, someone always adding on another piece. They forget to increase the sum insured to take into consideration all those additions. And when it's claim day, they want to claim for the whole thing, and then they forgot when, they didn't increase the sum insured. Okay, so that's a really, really big one. If you want to avoid underinsurance, you need to ensure every step of the way that you're including the appropriate sums insured. You're upgrading it. You're looking at your sums insured even on a renewal basis, an annual basis, to look and see, does this reflect my replacement cost? So that's a very big one. Valuables. I'm trying to monitor my time, so just let me know. I'm almost to the end. Valuables, okay? So valuables will be things like your jewelry. This is a big one that causes a lot of confusion, where someone will come in and they will insure contents, and they would always give you a very low guesstimate of contents. Insure my contents for $10,000, right? Someone will come with that. And then when there's a claim, they'll come to you and they'll tell you, oh, I bought my wife a ring, and included in that 10,000 was my wife ring for 20,000. Now you could do your math. If you only have insurance for 20,000, you told me that represent all the contents in your home, and now you coming to me to claim for a ring or a watch for 20,000. Clearly you are underinsured. You didn't even insure that ring. You forgot to include that. So there you could see where you have that big confusion about underinsurance. And when you are underinsured, in all property insurance, there is a penalty called average. What is average? Average is a penalty for underinsurance, which means that if you came to me and you only insured 50% of your property, 50% of your home, you need to answer the question, what part of your home are you insuring? Are you insuring the left side or the right side, the front or the back with that 50,000? What are you insuring? Then you could clearly see, like, okay, if I'm insuring over here, the other side don't have any coverage. So what happens in the event of a claim very quickly is, since you decide to self-insure the other part, 50% insured, the other 50 uninsured, the other 50 self-insured, in the event of a claim, if you insured 50% and self-insured 50%, in the event of a claim, that claim is shared in that same proportion. So let's say your claim is $10,000. Out of that loss, that $10,000 loss, you don't get the entire 10,000 because you remember, you became your own self-insurer. So we would split that claim in half, and 50% we will allow you to pay, and the other 50% we pay. All right. So that's the way it works. So to avoid average, which is the penalty for underinsurance, please have the correct sums insured. Just 3 or 4 more points. 2 policies. Some person, especially on their automobile, I don't know where they think this is going to happen, but sometimes they take out 2 policies on 1 vehicle. Could you believe that? Thinking that in the event of a loss, there would be double indemnification. Absolutely not. Insurance is never designed for you to profit. Just ain't designed. It's either you break even or you lose. That's it. That's insurance. That's the equation. Because government is not going to improve something of that nature for you. Then it becomes a gamble, right? And insurance is not a gamble. Insurance is that in the event that you have a loss, the company will indemnify you for any losses. So don't double insure. You're not going to get double indemnity. Last 2 points. Do not rush your contract. We have this all the time. Persons rush into us and they like, I'm on my lunch break, and you're trying to explain to them the contract, like, read. No. Just tell me how much I have to pay and I need to go. What's your sum insured? They can't even really remember. They come into the office. She's smiling, ill prepared to do insurance. Friends, you now know. Like I said, I want to bring an awareness, transformative learning. Please, before you come in to do insurance, think about what you're going to do. Be intentional about it. Read as much information. If you do not understand anything that we're supposed to be the expert. If you do not understand anything about your contract, ask the question. And if you don't get an answer, ask again. That's your right. Setting the correct sums insured under your policy is your responsibility. Now, as the professionals, we are here to help you. And that's where Kino and I, that's where we come in. All right. So we, as the professional, we have the years of experience, we have the qualification, we have the passion, we have the desire, all of that to assist you in setting your correct sums insured. We are brokers, right? So which means, especially on the general side, we work not in the best interest of the insurance company. We work in the best interest of the customer. That's the great thing of having a broker. So as I end and pass this on to the one and only Mr. Kino McCartney, I want to say this as I end, that insurance is not evil. I want to say, do not overinsure because you're not going to get more money. You're just only going to break even. So please, please exercise wisdom. Do not underinsure. Underinsured, you're going to not have a complete indemnity. If it's any out of the two of those, I prefer you to overinsure than underinsured. Ladies and gentlemen, be wise. I'm Jacqueline Gardiner from Kino. I hope I'm in my time. From Kino General, saying to you, please, please, Kino's going to give us all our address. Look us up if you want that expert experience that I spoke about to help you in setting the correct sums insured so that you are not penalized in the event of a claim. Call us, look us up. Thank you, Jackie Gardiner, and goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you, Jackie. Just a question before we turn it over to Kino. A question came up about fencing. How does insurance cover fencing?
Excellent question. Thank you for that very interesting question. I had that on my list, but in the interest of time, I cut it short. So that must be a good wink. So fencing is a very unique one. So persons assume that they cannot insure for fencing. You can insure for fencing. However, under the policy, you would only have coverage for certain perils. So you would have fire, lightning, all the other perils. The only peril that would not be covered perils are the catastrophe perils, the hurricane, the earthquake. And the reason why they've excluded that for fencing is that, as you could appreciate, a fence is very exposed and fragile. And so the wind will only have to blow 10 miles an hour sometimes, your fence will fall. So if it's a wall, you would have hurricane cover. But fence, because it's, like I said, very exposed and fragile, there's no cover for hurricane. But all the other perils, you would have, you'll still have all the other protection. So please, please do not exclude fencing from your sum insured because it can be covered by your policy. Excellent question.
Awesome. I love the part where you talk about the rebuilt value and the replacement value with the home. That example really kind of like nailed it, because I think so many of us go ahead and just insure our homes for what we would have purchased it for, the costs, 10 years ago, it was, a $40,000 home or $50,000 home, but that $40,000 or $50,000 cannot rebuild our homes in the future. And that is definitely something we have to watch out for, couples, because that could be a stressor in your marriage. Can you imagine losing your home and not being able to insure it because we did what? That would have been under insuring our home because we didn't do the correct replacement value. So rebuild value. Yes.
Yes. And I love something what Jacqueline said earlier. She said, you have to be intentional with your insurance. And for our unique couples community, we know that we tell you in marriage, you have to be intentional. You have to put that work in your marriage. So there you hear that word again, intentional.
Even about that.
Yeah. So in insurance, you have to be intentional. In your marriage, you have to be intentional. So just want to thank Jacqueline again. So we're going to turn it over to Kino.
All right. Listen, Jackie was absolutely amazing. And I don't know how I'm going to top that. She's just a great presenter. And I'm going to start off with what she ended. Insurance is not evil. And you're absolutely right. There's two words I want you to remember when you think about insurance. One is risk and one is protection. Wherever there is a risk, there has to be protection. You must protect those things that could affect you and your family. And I'm very happy to see that Unique Couples is having this conversation with couples, with families, so that they can understand the importance of insurance. Now, listen, no one likes to think about the devastating effects of losing a family member. All right? You could go straight on to the other two slides for me, please. No one likes to see the effects of losing a family member, especially if that person is the breadwinner. The grieving process is far greater, with an increasing financial toll to add to the emotional burden that you can experience. By planning ahead, you can be sure that your family can continue with the quality of life that you provided for them. You could go right on to the next 2 slides for me, please. I'm going to be talking about the benefits of life insurance. Here's the benefits. 1, it allows your dependents to maintain the same standard of living that they had prior to a breadwinner's death. These are some of the benefits. Also, you're thinking about security and peace of mind for yourself and your family. Thirdly, it partially satisfies your bank's collateral for requirement. Now, one of the things that people don't understand, when they go to a bank, they need to have life insurance. It's part of the security or collateral that the bank requires. Fourthly, an endowment policy can generate savings for college or retirement, depending on how it is structured. I'm going to talk a little about that later down if we have time. And then finally, another benefit is continue to provide for your family even after death. Over the last 24 months, we have seen a large amount of unfortunate deaths. And of course, we send our love out to a lot of those families. But I can tell you something. We cannot replace the individual. But I could tell you that insurance has certainly been a way to bring about peace and protection to families after the death of a loved one. How much insurance should I have? That's one of the greatest questions, and that's the question for the day. How much insurance should I have? The calculation is simply this: at least 10 years of your income. That's right, at least 10 years of your income. So in other words, if your annual income is $40,000, 10 times 40 is $400,000 minimum. That's the average. If you are finding that you are making that amount of income and you are less than 400,000 or less than 10 times your present annual income, then you are underinsured. You are underinsured. And as Jackie shared, it's best to be slightly over than under. Now, how do you determine that? You sit down with a financial advisor, and he or she will complete a financial need analysis, and they will be able to determine the exact amount of value that you need. They don't just pull it out of your head. People walk into the insurance offices sometimes, and they say, listen, I just want $100,000 because I'm going to insure my home. The challenge is, if something was to happen to the breadwinner, the house is insured, is paid off, but then the children that are left, they cannot go to school. They can't eat. So come in and have a conversation with a financial advisor and allow them to work with your budget, your plans, your goals, where you want to go, and they will be able to give you a proper value of where you need to be. Now, life insurance places you in the top 5% of all working people. Here's an assessment that was done several years ago. Out of 100 people who started working, equally at age 25, by the time they retired, 40 years later, one of those persons was wealthy. 4 of them are financially dependent for life. 36 of them had died. 5 were still working out of necessity. And we're seeing that trend increasing more and more. And then 54 are dependent on relative, friends, and other charitable institutions like National Insurance or their church. And that's a sad reality where we are, because people are not prepared, not only for life, but also for retirement. And that's another conversation that we could have. That is all in our conversation as to whether or not you are over or underinsured, because pension comes underneath that same way of thinking. When should I buy life insurance? Not tomorrow, because it's not promised. Before you become unhealthy, and also as a young person, to possibly avoid high rates. A lot of people tell me, they come in and they say, I'm too young, I'm going to wait till I'm a little older. The unfortunate thing is tomorrow is not promised to no man. And another thing is, by the way that our people have been eating in our community, many of them have chosen lifestyles where their eating habits, their social living habits, where they may be smoking or drinking, and also partying, that could also affect them getting insurance. Please, I'm going to tell you, move quickly on it. Now, are you getting the proper value for your money? I think this screen tells a whole lot. It takes 4 cents of every dollar to create an insurance premium. It takes 4 cents of premium to create $1 of insurance. Can you believe that? 4 cents. I know the pennies are now gone, but when you look at the value of what you're going to do, only 4 cents. I normally say to individuals, if your premium is $40 a month and the insurance company within 10 years pays out $200,000, you could never accumulate a $40 premium over 12 months times 4 years. You could never accumulate that amount of money in the bank. Let me say that again. You could never accumulate that amount of money in the bank. That is the reason why it's a tremendous value. And that's why I'm so happy that unique couples decided to blend this conversation, not only with life insurance, but also with general insurance. Because interesting enough, people will like to insure their car before their life. They will insure their home before their life. And they're supposed to work together. And that's why I'm happy to know that both Kalina General and Kalina Life Insurance is having this conversation. And Vito and Patrick from Unique Couples have invited us to come to talk about not only your life, but your home, your auto, your marine, your commercial, all your liability. Even if you have a company, you can have a conversation with us. Now, go right on to the next one. I want you to remember this. Life insurance does not insure an individual's life. Let me repeat that. Life insurance does not insure an individual's life, but rather their income. As soon as there is income coming into your home, life insurance is needed to protect it. That's very, very important. And I close with this. Will your child or will your children inherit your assets or your liabilities? That's a very, very powerful question. Will your child or children inherit your assets or your liabilities? And I'm going to close with a very, very quick story. Jackie gave a personal story in her life. I'll give a personal story. And it's very quick. Many years ago, a gentleman was driving home from Junkanoo. This is over 40, 50 years ago. He was driving 40 years ago. He was driving home from Junkanoo, having a great time in Junkanoo. He was driving home, and on his way home, he had an accident. He left a wife and 2 children, a 5-year-old and I think a 2-year-old son at home. What is so crazy about this is that when the mother heard, she drove down to the scene. He was still in the car. They got him out, took him to the hospital, were able to try to resuscitate him and get him back together. And guess what? In the midst of all of that, he died. And I would like to fast forward some 30, 40 years later. That 5-year-old little girl and that 2-year-old boy was my wife's father. He died on his way home coming from Junkanoo. And what could have been a devastating situation in a family where her mother never worked. She never worked. There was only one breadwinner in the home. It would have been a terrible situation if he had died tragically coming home from Junkanoo and they had nothing left, a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. But thank God for the miracle of life insurance. As a result of that, she was able to go back to school, educate herself. She was able to take her 2 children, pay off their home, secure them, send them off to university. And now we're here today, several years later. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that is the miracle of protecting your family with the adequate amount of coverage. Take your time and sit down, as Jackie said, have a conversation with a financial advisor. You could choose anyone. You could have a conversation with Jackie Gardiner or Kino McCartney or any person that you can trust. Remember, it's risk and it's protection. You are making sure that there's protection over your family, over your home, in the event of tragedy. And that's what we're here to do. Vito and Linda?
Awesome. That
Yes.
was excellent.
Just a whole lot to think about, And I see Nakia is loving this question you put in there. And I think we'll start with this. And this is a question that a lot of people, you really need to seriously answer. Will your children be left with your assets or liabilities? And, what type of life will you be leaving for your children if you leave those, whether it's assets or liabilities? And that is so important. And then even with spouses, if a husband leaves, the wife behind, what are you leaving her with? The burden of having to take care of children or herself, or, having to rush and get married because, hey, she need that financial security. Or is she going to still, even after, the pain is, of course, going to be unbearable. Nothing can take that away, but be comforted with the fact that even in that, he is still taking care of you, or vice versa. That is definitely something we need to pay attention to. Yes, we want to go about and have our wonderful date nights and love up our spouse and don't think about these things because, hey, they're scary, right? No one wants to think about what happens if, but we have to plan for that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All of this is a part of marriage, and this is why unique couples decided to talk about insurance. And this is just one aspect of it. You still have to talk about living a healthy life and make sure you do your annual physicals, all that sorts of stuff, because all of this plays a role when it comes to insurance. Because Kino talked about it also in terms of living healthy. You want to make sure you watch what you eat, watch what you drink, because all of this plays a role. So this is why unique couples, we are having this conversation today, so we can tell you exactly what you need to do as it relates to insurance. We are not the experts. That's why we brought the experts in. That's why Jacqueline and Kino is here to talk about insurance. They have all the information.
To encourage, to educate, and definitely make sure some transformation happens. So Kino and Jackie, you guys were so clear. I know that people will definitely be contacting you. If they have any more questions, they will contact you. But if you have any final, we're seeing a lot of comments. Great presentation, great information. You're giving them a lot to think about. Any final advice for persons who are just starting out? They're recently married. What should they do first? Or should they be doing everything first? What would be your advice to couples who are just recently married? What should they look out for and do?
Well, Vito and Linda, I would say to them, have a conversation with an advisor. Sit down and talk with them. Do a complete financial need analysis where they are able to assess your needs, assess your goals, your dreams, your budget, and prioritize those things that are very important. I'm going to leave you with a triangle. You should take care of your mind, your body, and your soul. Keep those things in priority: your mind, your body, and your soul. We talk about healthy living and healthy eating. Take care of your mind when you start off, because it's very important what you put in your mind, what you think about. Take time to pray. Take care of your soul. Make sure not only do you have the life insurance, but you also have the blessed assurance. I have to put that in there. The blessed assurance. They go together. So the mind, the body, and the soul, bring those together and ensure that you sit down and talk with someone who can advise you properly. I didn't leave our contact information. You could reach myself at Colina. My number is 356-8382. Again, the number is 356-8382. You could hit me up. I'm on Facebook at Kino McCartney, Kino, Kino McCartney. You can hit me up on Facebook. You could email me at kino.mccartney@colina.com. You could hit me up there, and I'll be more than happy to get in contact with you. Jackie?
My final words is knowledge is power. So be inquisitive. You're responsible for you. So ask questions. And like I said, if you don't get a sensible answer, because people can give all kind of answer, or if you get an unclear answer, either keep asking until you get the correct answer. My name is Jacqueline Gardiner. As it was said, I work at Kino General. That's the general side. You can reach me at 357-8383. That's my cell number, my direct line, 677 2050. Or I'm also on Facebook. Definitely, you can reach me via Facebook. So I look forward to hearing from you.
Okay, there you have it. All of the contact information for Kino and Jacqueline. You guys, you know where you can find them. So go ahead and contact them so you can make sure you are up to date with all of your insurance information.
Yep.
That's
Definitely.
very, very important.
Yes, because we definitely don't want it to be a case of all the pressure and the hurt and the pain compounded because your assets were not secured, or the only breadwinner of your family, something happened to them, or like we faced here in Grand Bahama with Hurricane Dorian, things that we absolutely did not expect, and some people just found out. There was something about a foundation. I'm not sure, but maybe you can help us with this. There was something with the hurricane, and I think people said you could get cheaper insurance if you did not insure your foundation, right? And so you could get cheaper insurance cover if you didn't secure your foundation, because hey, the foundation doesn't go anywhere. But we saw that during the hurricane, some of the foundations actually did go somewhere. So just talk to us about that, because I'm like, really, I never thought about that part of it. So talk to us a little about that before we go.
Excellent question. I'm so glad that you added that at the end. So donkey years ago, yes, that's what people did. Some insurers, now not even all insurers allow that, because some insurers realize that could be a really messy claim. So there are one or few that decided to be creative, because persons were, pressing that, hey, insurance catastrophe related cover is so expensive. So one or two insurance companies decided, okay, we will give them the option to exclude the foundation out of the value. However, I can tell you that made some very difficult claims during Hurricane Dorian, because yes, persons did not expect to experience any damage, and that's the core part of the home. That's a really expensive part of the home to eliminate. So those persons who excluded the foundation were not very happy. So from my years of experience, I've never given that as a recommendation. I would rather recommend to you that you do an excellent financing plan, even if I have to give you 10, 11 months to finance that premium. I know personally, I've never excluded my foundation, and that's not, from my perspective, a wise recommendation. And so that's why I told you, come to someone with experience, the qualification and experience to give you that kind of advice.
Yes, because so much times we just depend on just hearing what our friend has to say, and the neighbor, and then we just run with it and not really go and find out and go to the professionals to find out exactly what needs to happen. So we're so happy that we were able to have this conversation, and we definitely look forward to having more conversations when you both can join us and share with our community. This has truly been educational. I know that changes will definitely made in the lives of couples because of what they would have learned. At least go and find a financial advisor. Go check out Kino and Jacqueline. They can help you if you're in any part of the Bahamas. They can still help you. And I'm saying that you can still help them, right? Even if they're in Grand Bahama.
Yes.
Okay, other parts of the Bahamas.
Everywhere.
Okay.
And we have offices throughout the Bahamas. So that's a great plug to put in for us, that we have offices throughout the Bahamas.
Awesome. Definitely. Thank you so much for sharing and educating and definitely bringing awareness.
Yes. And we want to just say thank you again for taking time out of your schedule to be here with us this evening. And then we want to thank our viewing audience for being here with us as well. We had fun sharing with you this evening here on Unique Couples Sunday Night Live. Here at Unique Couples, we are building stronger couples, healthier marriages, and happier families. We love you guys. Have a great evening. We'll see you all tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. in how to strengthen your marriage. And then we'll see you at 8 p.m. in the
Ooh.
Unique Couples Marriage Club.
Date night.
Yes.
At 8. We start at 8. And then, of course,
And then
on
on
Wednesdays,
Wednesday, we'll see you right back here on the Unique Couples YouTube channel for After Dark. Unique Couples After Dark on Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then again next week, Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great week. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Goodbye. Pleasure.
At Wrights Enterprise, our slogan is Dreams on Wheels. Let us customize a trailer to accommodate your business's needs. From clothing and apparel, shoes and accessories, to hair and nails, we are the perfect choice for your mobile business. Contact 646-8464 for more info and follow us on IG at Wrights_Enterprise 242.